Real Counsel, we also practice foreclosure defense, especially these days post-pandemic. That may be a hot topic, right? Interest rates were at a low level during the pandemic, record levels. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon, which I don't blame you for. You definitely should have jumped on the bandwagon. I didn't. I missed those interest rates. So now I'm watching from the outside. But if you see yourself, missing payments, or you see that it's a little difficult keeping up with your payments or your mortgage obligations, of course that may start the pathway towards a foreclosure from your lender. Nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants to receive a letter from their lender saying, hey, you're past due on your payments. If you don't make it on time, we're going to take your property away. Nobody wants to hear that, especially if you are a parent, you're raising your children. You don't want to have this type of anxiety in the back of your head. That's why we practice foreclosure defense. Give us your case. Let us worry about it for you. This way you could proceed with life as you see fit, and your lawyers will take care of it and work out the proper cons and the proper pros. When it comes to foreclosure defense, we want to delay or we want to fight with the lender as much as possible to keep your home under your name. Our goal is not to get you kicked out of your house. We don't want your family to relocate. We don't want you to start fresh in a new house. We want you to keep your house under your name wherever it is. But of course, life happens, right? Life happens. We can't keep up with the payments. We can't keep up with our obligations. And sometimes the best option we have is fight with the bank as long as you can to hold on to your property. There come a time where the bank is going to say, you know what, you fought for so long, let's visit alternative solutions to the situation we have at hand. Right? So what type of solutions would they provide to us, right? So some of it would be a short sale, for example, right? A short sale essentially is when the bank agrees to sell the property at a lower value than what the house is valued at, or at a lower value than what the current mortgage balance is. So let's say, for example, you took out a mortgage for $500,000. Months go on, you were up to date with your payments. You lose your job, unfortunately. So what do, right? The lender is sending you letters. They're calling you. Hey, your account is past due. Call us, or we're shutting down your account. That's the last thing you want to hear when you lose your job, when you're trying to provide for your family. So what do? Go to your lawyer, right? Go to your lawyer. Speak to your lawyer, right? Because if you were to come to me, for example, I'll give you the options that the bank will give you, right? But the bank is not going to provide these options to you in the beginning. They want all their money back. So, as I mentioned before, we have the short sale, where, of course, let's say you took out a $500,000 loan on the property. You made already, let's say, $100,000 worth of payments, right? So your principal balance is at $400,000. But you're falling behind the payments. You can't keep up. You lost your job, or you had a family emergency, whatever it is, whatever life brings at you, you cannot keep up with your mortgage obligations. What's going to happen? The bank is going to constantly send you letters. You're in default. You're in default. You're in foreclosure. Then they're going to sue you. They're going to bring you to court, and they're going to try to foreclose on your property, which means the bank is going to try to take your property away from you. Okay, whether or not you have relocation options, whether or not you have a place to stay, whether or not you're going to be homeless after, unfortunately, whatever the circumstance may be. So go to your lawyer, and what we will do at Real Counsel, we're going to fight, of course, for your defense. We're going to fight to keep your house as long as possible. Of course, there's no guarantee that you're going to keep your house, but we could fight and we could try, right? Because if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So we would try to fight the foreclosure if the lender gets the upper hand, but they agree to a short sale, which I said earlier is selling your property at a value that is less than the value of your house. The bank needs to agree to this. So you took out a $500,000 loan from the bank. You already made $100,000 worth of payments. Your principal balance is $400,000. You can't keep up with your payments. So now what? You're in foreclosure. The bank doesn't see any incentive for them to carry on with this legal case. It costs them money, right? It costs them legal fees, taxes, property taxes that they have to keep paying for, right? Water or sewer charges that they have to keep paying for. And a foreclosure defense could carry on for years. The bank doesn't want to spend money on this. They just want their property back, or they want the money back. That's it. They don't want to be caught up in litigation. So let's say, back to our example, you got a $500,000 mortgage and your principal payment right now, your principal balance is $400,000. The bank, on a short sale, once we convince them, will agree to sell the house for $400,000. That is considered a short sale because the value of your house is 500. The loan that you took out on your house is 500,000, right? But now your principal balance is 400. So we have to get to a point for a short sale where the bank agrees, you know what? Instead of proceeding with litigation, instead of continuing with these attorney's fees and all these carrying charges, we're going to take a hit. We're going to take a hit. We're going to recognize where our losses are, and we're going to agree to allow the homeowner, the mortgagor, to sell the property for $400,000, $100,000 less than the value of it. And then what happens after that, right? The homeowner, the mortgagor, they find a broker, or they find a team of consultants, or they find a team of investors who are willing, ready, and able to purchase the house from the homeowner who is in foreclosure, right? So easy breezy, right? You find a purchaser, they take over the deed, they take over the obligations that they have to on the property, and then you sign over the deed, the bank approves it, your investors take over, you walk away scot-free. That's not represented on your credit report. The short sale I'm talking about. The short sale is not represented in your credit report. Your credit is not affected. Okay, you are able to move on with your life at another property. Now, obviously, what is the common question that arises from whatever I just said, right? Who keeps the $400,000? It's not going to be the homeowner. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to keep it as a homeowner as much as you want, because at the end of the day, you owe money to the bank, right? The goal of the short sale is to get the bank off your behind, right? You don't want this to be on top of you. Get them off of you ASAP. Take that $400,000 you sold your property with, pay them off, get them off your name, go rent somewhere, purchase another property if you're able, of course, and start fresh. Quick glimpse of it. Of course, there's a lot more intricacies, a lot more details behind it. There's also, deed in lieu, and that's another option, right? But we'll get into it. You call me, you want to talk about a deed in lieu, you call me, you email me, and we could discuss it. Okay, we can have a 30-minute free consultation about it. I'll give you all the ins and outs.